Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. It's another edition of JJ and Alex right here, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. The team's back together again.
You sound like somebody just got back from vacation, vigor,
I love it.
Energy.
You know what I noticed today? Like, you have the TV glow. You have kind of the, it's like a.
That's not what Hans just called it.
No, you and Hans had a conversation outside. That was one for the books right there.
Yeah.
Good for you, though. You know what it is? It said, I just, because we were having a conversation, we were just catching up about our weight loss. You're looking phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
And then
You too.
I lost 2 pounds on vacation.
How about that?
That's honestly,
SaltLakeCityFatLoss.com.
No, I'm just telling you. Like, normally vacation is a plus 15 situation for me.
No doubt. For everybody.
But for me,
Who's gone on a cruise and did not gain 10 pounds?
Oh, I can't go on a cruise ever. Like, that's actually part of the program that we're on is thou shalt never go on a cruise ever again. There's no, because you can't.
Thanks
we
a
can't
lot,
win
Carnival.
There. You're
Hey, we
stuck.
have the Coug Cruise.
I gotta go on the Cougar cruise.
How are you going to do that?
How's Hans gonna do it?
You got to go. Jimmer's going to be there.
Honestly, the best person on that list is Hans, right?
Oh, no doubt.
In terms of I feel like a fun cruise situation. Now, you might get thrown overboard, right? Hans's cruise version of Hans is throwing people overboard because he's happy to see him.
Yeah, that's a danger.
like-
Anytime you're around Hans,
Hey.
there's a chance you get tossed.
Man overboard. So, yeah, we got tons to catch up on. We have tons to catch up on. It is not easy taking kids to the airport. And I want to just say congrats to my wife for being really, really good at being super patient. I'm not there yet. But I was telling you before, there was a guy at the airport yesterday. Now, we are looked at as a freaking clown group, all right? Because it's me, my wife, and 7 children, okay? Okay? And when you're going through the airport, that is something different. That's something special, all right? And I hate it. I hate being looked at weird. I hate people talking to you or people whispering behind their back. So what I don't like is, but you're getting on the airplane, you paid for seats too, man.
Yeah.
And everybody looks
Absolutely.
at your baby. If a baby gets on board anywhere, people are looking at that baby going, what's this baby going to do?
There's a lot of baby hate out there.
There is.
Man, a lot of baby
and
hate.
especially because there's a lot of people, if you're traveling from Utah or coming to Utah, everybody's like, we get it. There's a lot of kids usually coming in.
We've all had babies. Why do we hate the babies?
Got it. But I get looked at funny. But congrats to my kids. We are.
Another I think you should leave reference.
What does Will Forte even say? That is the weirdest thing. Getting some time off? That's good. It's good.
That's a good Will Forte.
It's not even Will Forte. It's that character. I don't even.
Sorry, I threw you on a tangent. You were telling a great story and I threw you on a tangent.
He's like, what is on your hand? A rat bit me. It's not that gross. Yeah, so bottom line is, a guy starts speaking in Spanish about how ridiculous we were. Like getting on the plane, I can't believe how many kids they have. I can't believe you would bring this many kids on a plane. Why would you do that? Why would you have this many kids? And he got the shock of his life when I responded back in my semi-perfect Spanish accent and got at him. And
that's awkward.
He responded back in English. Oh, no, I think it's great. No, I think it's great. I go, well, then why'd you say it in Spanish? Because you didn't want me to understand it, right?
Wow.
Because if you thought it was great, you'd say it in English, thinking that I maybe understand it.
Busted.
Instead, the most awkward moment of his life. I like awkward moments like this, where I clown on. My kids are like, what did you say to that guy? I go, oh, I just wish him a happy time.
Sure.
Wish him a happy time.
Sure you did.
But my wife was like, what's that guy saying? I go, he was clowning on us, man. Don't let him clown on you. We have fantastic kids traveling-wise. They are amazing traveling. They did a phenomenal job. And they're great. And our baby does not cry one freaking second on that plane. All right? So, congrats to our family. We made it through. That is the last of our vacations for the year, though. and I will never go on vacation again.
One and done.
I'm not doing it. And it's just mostly because of the stress. So I can't do the stress. Speaking of the stress, how about Oklahoma and Florida in the Women's College World Series? Double elimination. Oklahoma trying to get, what do they have, 3 natties in a row? It's like the best
Just
streak
an
in the sports
absolute
history.
Juggernaut, a dynasty.
So did they close it out? Yeah, they did, I guess. They closed it out. So it's going to be Oklahoma and Texas in the freaking championship series? Come on.
Technically still in the Big 12, right?
I know. I love they have the Big 12 on their shoulders. This is the last, by the way, of Big 12 anything. Yeah, Texas, Oklahoma, championship series. Florida just got handed to them. They were
The Women's College World Series is great.
Sneaky good.
Love
Sneaky
it.
good. I will watch Women's Final Four volleyball as much as I do any other thing. I'm like, this is phenomenal. And watching softball, phenomenal.
Yep.
You
Love
can clown on me all you want, but these series
Why would they clown on you?
because they're like, oh, that's not that fun.
It's great.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's my 2 cents. All right. We got tons to get through. We got so many things to get through.
You've been gone a long time. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Hey, what happened while I was gone?
I mean, it wasn't like the last time when we got an NHL hockey team.
No.
But there has been a lot going on.
There has.
There's a lot to chat about.
Did we figure out a mascot yet? Are we in the second round of voting yet?
No, but
Still
we do.
not.
Apparently we have colors.
I heard.
We have colors.
Well,
we have a logo.
They trademarked the entire color wheel, right? Isn't that what they did?
Pretty
Every
much.
color could be a part of this.
Icy blue. I think there's something to it.
Some icy, something frost related.
It's going to look really good with that Yeti logo.
Hey, our program is always brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, and nutritious boost. And man, it's been a minute since I've been in the studio. I will say this too: no G2G bars that I could find in South Carolina. No, I didn't go to Costco. They're at Costco, obviously.
Are
everywhere.
they in Costco in South Carolina?
I think they are, but we didn't go to Costco. So luckily, all right. But let's kick off the show as we always do. We got tons to talk about. We have some college football to chat about. We have the NBA Finals to preview today. We have tons to get through with that. So let's jump in right here. It is The Cut at the top of the program.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And this portion of the show also, The Cut, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. That's Trajan Wealth for all of your financial needs and retirement. Go to TrajanWealth.com. All right. So this isn't an exact science, the FPI situation, right? When ESPN rolls out with it, I don't know why we even give it much heed. However,
analytics.
Yeah, the analytics are real, JJ. Like, that's a real thing. We have to understand what the numbers are saying. And this is one of the strange ones because what the FPI does, what did Britney Spears used to say? When Britney Spears gets auto-tuned, right? It's like sing into the computer and then see what comes out. Something magical, right? Someone on American Idol one of those years was like, let me sing into the machine. Just give me a chance. And that's what's going on right here. Every team gets their schedule put into the machine, and then like a weird Willy Wonka situation, just spits out a fortune for you, right? So what is it? And according to ESPN's FPI, which if you want to put a ranking up of the FPI, that's fine. The Big 12 and the rankings. And again, the way too early lists are one thing. This can be deemed a totally irrational list. It can be deemed a totally irresponsible list or way of doing things. But the rankings are out on the FPI. That is the assumption as to where you are on your schedule compared to how you're going to do against whatever opponent is. Now, I don't know how they came up with this. Kansas is number one in the Big 12 on the FPI, ranked 17th. Now, this speaks to strength of schedule, right? This speaks to
returners,
returning folks,
offense, defense. In fact, I had a
little metric,
here.
like it's kind of a metric on how they do it, because I don't know how they came up with Kansas State, 1-2. 3 is Arizona. You ready for where Utah is? Not 4. Utah is 5th and 27th overall in the FPI. 7.8 wins is what the computer says that they are likely to win this year. Now, and then 4.4 losses. How do you lose 4.4 games? You only have 0.4 of a quarterback. That's in my mind, that's how Utah loses 4.4 games is if Cam Rising's not.
Agree with that.
That's fine. But I don't get how they could have them losing. Where are they losing almost 5 games? Where is Utah losing almost 5 games? And what is the metric they even go by?
So here's the FPI as a power rating that tracks each team's strength relative to an average FBS squad. So teams are rated on offense, defense, and special teams with the values representing points per game. So that means Georgia's, so they're nearly 27 points per game better than the average team.
Okay.
So if they're number 1, right? So if their FPI says that. So that's how that's built. Now, I'm sure a lot of that information you have to carry it over from the previous season, right? So that could be why it's skewed that way. It's interesting. It's really interesting because where else have you seen Utah rated 5th in the Big 12?
Right, 0 places.
Let me throw this out there. So I've got the whole list, like not just the conference, but every school in the country rated. And Utah's 27th in FPI in the country.
It's crazy.
Is there even people that are like not really low, not even high on Utah or convinced of certain things? Do they have them that low?
I thought the FPI showed though too. Like, okay, let's just take every opponent game by game. Your chance of beating those opponents.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah. It's because
you're where are those 5 freaking losses coming from? Just all 4 to the teams that are that are ahead of them in the FPI.
That would be it.
That's it.
That's it. Well, they don't play all 4 of those teams.
No, I know. That's what I was wondering. Like, how do they do this?
They don't play Kansas. They don't play Kansas State. They only play Arizona and Oklahoma State.
Probably have them losing to their big-time rival Colorado,
teams,
right?
Oklahoma State's 26 and Arizona's 24 in FPI.
I have no idea what to
do. We really believe that Arizona, Oklahoma State, and Utah? Well, I guess Arizona would be in top 25 in this list, but do we really believe that Oklahoma State and Utah right now today are not top 25 teams? I can't say that. By the way, SMU, BYU's week 2 opponent, is 25th in FPI.
And so ahead of Utah.
I don't mean to pile on, but that non-conference game is going to be a war for BYU. That's a good SMU team.
I thought you were going to say I don't want to pile on to how inaccurate this list is. But it's a robot, JJ. You can't hurt its feelings. You can't.
That's true.
The FBI robot can't hurt you, JJ.
The FBI robot doesn't care about my feelings.
No. But it also, it's garbage. I would love to see a year by year what it actually turns out to be. Because now BYU on the flip side.
Where's BYU on this list? Let's get into that.
15th. Which is where I think between 13 and 15 is where BYU is on a lot of lists. I'd say 12 and 15, right? So you don't look at that. And they have them winning almost 5 games and losing almost 7. By the way, went 5-7 last year. Don't have a quarterback. You can't argue with where that is right now just based off of what you saw last year. That's why I get it with that. And I get that you, and like you said, you can find 5, 6, and even 7 losses sometimes on that. But you can also find 5, 6, or 7 wins possibly. This is how the FBI works. It's never going to be totally accurate, right? And so I don't know where you think BYU should be on this, but that feels a lot more accurate than saying Utah is going to win less than. Like, it has them almost winning 8 games and almost losing 4 games. Like, that's where they were last year.
It has them in that 5 and 7 range, right? 4.8 to 7.2. It's right in that range. Utah is the same. 7.8, 8 wins, 4 losses. It almost mirrors last season.
Yes.
Which tells you all you need to know about the FPI, because what is the FPI basing its stuff on? It has nothing else to go by than if it's going on offense, defense, special teams. It's using data from last year. Yep. So keep that in mind with the FPI. Don't overreact to the FPI. Even for a BYU fan. Let me boost up BYU here, because I think that they are too low on this list. I don't think they're the 73rd rated team in the country.
I saw you got some hate mail while I was gone.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Some Cougar hate
That's
mail.
okay. Look, I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be honest on this when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come in here and I'm not sunshine and rainbows guy.
Well, it's not about
facts,
that.
Facts.
I think it was really weird that you went off of your contractual obligation to go 70-30 BYU Utah. I thought it was really weird of you. Like, I'm going to have to talk to Nate about this.
Talk to the boss.
You haven't been hitting your quota. What's your problem?
I have failed. No, look, let me give you the 4 teams in front of BYU in FPI. And you tell me, I mean, let's try to convince ourselves that these teams are better than BYU.
All right.
I'll start with number 72, Virginia. Come on.
All right.
I don't care what BYU could roll out. Ben Bywater can go back there and play quarterback. BYU's better than Virginia. BYU has better personnel than Virginia.
Wait, did Ben Bywater get in the quarterback room while I was out of town? That I could see something like that happen.
Sorry. I realize you've been gone. Don't want to throw anything.
Scared me. They're all QB4.
Hey,
Ben
maybe
Bywater.
they should. Maybe they should.
Give
I don't
it a
know.
Shot.
Throw somebody back there that
All
can
right.
just hand the ball off and not throw
Sure.
pick sixes at the.
Okay.
Wake Forest. Do you really believe BYU's not better than Wake Forest?
So a couple lower third ACC teams right there?
Right.
All right.
And then Syracuse at 70. I mean, I think BYU's better than Syracuse. Is BYU better than Tulane right now? Tulane has a new head coach.
If you go off of Tulane's record of the last couple of years, then you have to just say no. But, that's a short-lived situation.
Is Appalachian State better than BYU?
App State. Well, in terms of wins and losses, I would say yes, just because.
Right.
What are they in the Sun Belt?
They are in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they'll win 9 to 11 games pretty much every year in the Sun Belt.
You get my point here. The exercise I'm showing is
it's not
the
an
computer's
apples to
saying
apples
this.
kind of situation.
I can take BYU and I can look at these other teams and say, okay. And that's why I get back to the Big 12. We're pretty soon. We're not far away. We got media day in 5 weeks.
Uh-oh.
We got to get our polls on, man. We got to start thinking about where we're going to vote these teams. And if I'm doing a preseason Big 12, 1 through 16, how am I doing this? It's going to be tough because you're looking at the conference. I'm like, it's a really good conference.
Okay.
Is it the Big 10 and SEC? Of course not. But I look at the top 5. I think the top 5 are top 25 teams. And I might even sneak Texas Tech in there. And then I haven't even talked about Central. Oh, sorry. Ooh, I almost did it. Oh,
Jeremy
hit the dump button.
UCF.
UCF is where's TCU at? I mean, those teams. West Virginia. Look, that's West Virginia's 9th in FPI in the conference. Colorado 10. Why is Iowa State 11th in FPI in the conference? 47 overall. The Cyclones are a dang good football team. How many teams in the country would take their starting quarterback and running back right now today?
So you feel like Iowa State probably got the shortest treatment on this?
Is Iowa State the 47th best team in the country? Are you kidding me?
Okay. All right. Now,
They can make a case that they should be preseason top 25.
All right. Let me see this.
So what, FPI, you're drunk.
All right. Wait. It always delivers something weird, right? Give me what last year's FPI said BYU and Utah were going to do.
I don't have BYU, but here's a couple names. USC, 7.
Okay. Oh, pretty good. By the way, Iowa State 2 years ago was like top 10.
Baylor, 23.
Okay.
Utah is 15. TCU, 17. Florida, 18. So there's some hit or misses there.
Right. So I guess as we do this exercise and we bring this up, FPI, what does it mean? Absolutely nothing.
Well, no, for sure. You can't go off of. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they end up with all of this. Do we have any? I don't know if there's any preseason. So at the end of the 2021 year, you had Iowa State that was listed as the. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th best team in the FPI. But I don't know. I mean, how many? They didn't project BYU. What was BYU's projected wins then? Or what was Utah's projected wins of last year?
This just has like a rating, so it's like the point differential thing.
Right.
This is like, here's the top 25 from last year.
Right, and the FPI is funny because they'll be like, their FPI is 10 wins and 3 losses because that's what they ended up with, right?
Yeah, they don't go week by week. So if you go to the full drop down, it does you the most recent.
All right.
So.
Well, it's BS But I also am buying in some to what the BS is.
Here's some honesty. I just talked about how I think that BYU and Utah are underrated by FPI. Could Utah finish 5th in the Big 12 this year? Absolutely. Kansas State, Arizona, Oklahoma State are all really, really good football teams. And they got to play 2 of those teams.
Okay. Could BYU finish top 7 in the Big 12 this year? Like as a wow, man, they turned it around. Because we don't give respect to the fact that because we do the same thing the computer does. We just go, well, based off of last year, I've got a bad feeling. And for you and I, we both have this big hurdle in the road of trying to give BYU more credit, which is no quarterback.
And brutal schedule.
When I say no quarterback.
BYU's schedule is brutal.
Right. When I say no quarterback, I'm saying that we know of, that has been proven. They might be in love and have loved what Jake Retzlaff has done in the offseason to improve his game. They might love Trayson Bourget more than we thought, and they're going to put him in earlier than you thought too. So which one is it? Which one is it? I don't know which one to believe. I think Utah's better than 5. I hope BYU's better than 15th. But they have them at 15th and still winning 5 games. And everyone that you talk to that's not your uncle who can't see past the fact that BYU is in a spot right now where they need to get better knows that BYU is behind the 8 ball. And they have not been up to snuff on where they're supposed to be compared to what relative to what the expectations are. All right? BYU football has not been a losing program. And when you have a losing season like you do, it's hard to I mean, look at the Jazz right now. With the Jazz, we go, when does this bleeding stop? With BYU, it's like the bleeding could stop immediately. That's how college football is. That's what makes it great.
100%. Because
West Virginia could beat BYU by 30 this year, and then BYU could. Well, I don't think they're on the schedule. I don't think the Mountaineers are coming out.
They are not. They are not.
But what I'm saying is that you can have that 30-point loss to Iowa State, and then come back and make a game out of it the next year, and win it in Ames. Who knows? I don't know what that looks like, but I think that there is a lot of hope. You know where the entirety of my hope lies? Is in TJ Woods. Isn't that wild that, like, it's a hard thing to do, but the changing over of your offensive line coach might be the entire difference of your season. And I get it. The quarterback is going to be way more important overall, but my feeling of BYU being underrated in this has a lot to do with the fact that they made some changes on their offensive coaching side of things. You gave me a look like, that's tough.
The offensive line is I'm not saying could, I'm saying is going to be better this year. My when I have to come crashing back down to reality with BYU, as optimistic as I can be about their personnel and everything else, this schedule is brutal. That SMU game on Friday, September 6th is going to be hard. And you know what? Then you got to turn around 8 days later and go to Laramie.
Oh, my gosh.
I know Wyoming's probably I think Wyoming takes a step back this year, new head coach. They've lost some players that are really good on that team. But you're still going to Laramie. And then you got to turn around and play Kansas State at home. Kansas State's really good. You got to go to Baylor. That's tricky. You got Arizona, Oklahoma State on the schedule. UCF, I almost did it again. Utah, Kansas.
Sure.
I mean, and that whole gauntlet, where's the team mentally and physically by the time you get to the end where it tapers off, where you have games that you should win? You should win at Arizona State. You should beat Houston. But where is the team by November 16th when they're taking on Kansas after that gauntlet? That is going to be such a difficult, challenging stretch of games, and it's really going to push this roster to its max. How does the team doing mentally if they don't get that win at SMU? Yeah. After what happened last year? What if the quarterbacks aren't taking off and don't have a great game against SMU? You're thinking, oh my gosh, we can't beat SMU. How are we going to beat Kansas State in 2 weeks?
Yeah, they could absolutely be.
That's my concern. That's my worry with this team.
Yeah, they could absolutely be 1-3. Absolutely could be 1-3.
We're going through the 60 and 60. they've got some really nice players on this team. They've got some really good talent. I've got several guys, and I'm going through this right now. I have to have it done today, but I got several Cougars in the top 20. But none of them are a quarterback.
Oh.
Right? And some of them are coming back from injuries. You have to be realistic about the gauntlet and the grind of what this schedule could provide them. Is it too much to overcome? This program's still in a transition, coming out of independence into Power 4 territory. We saw it with TCU. We saw it with Utah. It's an adjustment. BYU's still making that adjustment. That doesn't mean they can't have a 6-6, 7-5 year, but it's going to be hard. Don't have an expectation that's going to be any different than that.
I wonder what the absolute ceiling is for BYU win-wise. Is it 7?
7.
Okay.
Maybe we can, in another segment today, we can go through the schedule again, see where we're at.
All right, let's take a break. We're going a little bit late here. I know it's a shocker. We talked too much after we hadn't been together for a week, so there you go. All right, we got more to go around the corner. Stay with us. When we return, fun day today, by the way. I mean, lots to talk about. We bounce around from college football over to the NBA, of course, the NBA Finals firing up here, and you've got the Mavericks and the Celtics, just like you called it, JJ. Just like you called it. Sort of. Just like we had imagined. Sort of. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. We'll talk with Grant Afseh of the MavericksGameDay.com. He will inform us as to where the Mavericks are mentally right now after winning the West and firing it up against the favorites in the Boston Celtics. Stay with us right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, everybody, welcome back. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program. To get you ready for what is pretty much a shock NBA Finals. I mean, you shouldn't be shocked when one of the most competitive leagues in the world has a couple of teams in there that one is a slam dunk. We assumed that the Boston Celtics were going to be there. Who did you have the Mavericks beating? You had them winning and going to the Western Conference Finals, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody had them in the NBA Finals in their head.
I didn't think I thought the Nuggets would be back.
But here we are, and we're having this conversation. Joining us right now on the program from MavericksGameDay.com, Grant Afseh joining us. Grant, thanks for being with us, and this should be a fun time to cover the Mavs, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. Just as you guys said, not necessarily a team many people expected to make it as far as they have, beating 3 50-win teams, and now having a final series has definitely been fascinating to be able to cover.
So let's get into that. I mean, from your vantage point where you're following this team on the daily, this team was in the lottery last year. How did they get from the lottery to this in 1 year?
Yeah, I think it all started with using last year's trade deadline to get the secondary star that they needed, and then with Kyrie Irving. And, I think the expectation obviously wasn't for them to finish as poorly as they did, but the understanding that it would take time to develop. And then that lottery pick resulted in Derek Lively, who's been, a perfect fit with Luka and Kyrie as that rim protector, lob threat. And then they had a lot of great signings in free agency. Derek Jones, he's a full-time starter now in the wing on a 1-year minimum deal. Dante Exum, someone that, Utah would be familiar with, was a very impactful regular season option as well, too. His impact's kind of gone down in the postseason. But, he's been a very helpful player. And then they added more pieces at the trade deadline by trading for P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, and that added that necessary big wing and extra rim protector that they have lacked in recent years. And now they have a very athletic, big team that is capable of playing many different ways. And even, as you guys in Utah would be familiar with, Maxi Kleber's versatility. They can go small when they need to as well, too, and pull out a guy like Rudy Gobert out of the paint when they need to. So just a lot of versatility and options, and he can play next side of those rim protectors as well.
Obviously, in every season that you've got to win a championship across any sport, it's always, that team that has found – that moment that they've come together and they're just kind of building up to that moment. It feels like the Celtics have been just that favorite all year, obviously in the East, and then the Mavericks have just built all the way up to where they're at now. What's been the biggest change for them to get to this moment? What's been the thing that has been a shock maybe to people around there for Mavericks fans to go, wow, they are this good and they're realizing the potential?
I think when you kind of view it from the big picture, I think, people are surprised, but I think when you think of the concept of, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and they're healthy entering the playoffs, and you give them a top-tier defense, which, they were able to, patchwork at the deadline and really develop into, that sounds like the type of team, that could pull off a deep run and makes them, very threatening for a lot of matchups. And, I think we've been able to see that, the realization of it. And when you go, series by series, it's almost like, they're not necessarily favored by any stretch being the 5 seed and going on the road for every one of them, to start every series. But also what we've seen, even since that Clippers series, is Luka just loves playing on the road. They rise to the occasion and really, kind of rise off of that hostile crowd environment. And you put that together, that's, definitely the recipe for that deep playoff run.
Kyrie Irving has been a phenomenal story. It seemed like a couple of years ago we were talking about Kyrie all the time for the wrong reasons. Now we're talking about him because he's just balling out. As you've covered him in Dallas, how has it been different for him in Dallas? How is he different, and how was he able to turn that around and make that change?
Yeah, I think for him, he's been able to step into a prominent leadership role. The roster looks up to him. They have quite a bit of younger players in comparison, to him being 32. A lot of 25-ish-year-old players, and he was very vocal about, or not vocal, but adamant about the importance of them playing faster. They used to be one of the slowest teams in the NBA. With Luka kind of, that really work the other team, slow it down type of approach, ranking 29th in pace last year. And, now they're one of the faster teams. And that's just an example of kind of the importance of just Kyrie's leadership of having direction on the team. And then you also have the emphasis on defense and conditioning. Luka has taken his conditioning very seriously. And consistently this season, and now now both superstars are actually they have competition about who's making more defensive impact in the playoffs, which is not something you would necessarily expect from the team that they've had last season, but maybe in that 2022 run, but overall in the Luka era, defense has been a weakness for them.
As you have kind of also seen the development of Luka, everybody knows how talented he is and how amazing he's been, in his pretty dang young career still. So tell me exactly what has changed in his game and kind of where he's at now, because we've all known he's phenomenal. So what's the next version of this as he's in the NBA Finals now?
Yeah, I think he's continued to round out his off-ball impact as one of the particular areas. Using the World Cup with the Slovenian national team, they had an injury with Vlatko Čančar, his only other NBA teammate, tearing his ACL in the preparation process, but they had a lot of guards. So Luka spent more time on the wing, playing up a position, and they moved him around the half court with how compact the floor can be without defensive 3 seconds. So they put him in a lot of off-ball actions. He had to be more assertive about taking catch and shoot shots, something that he used to kind of stall on the catch and then kind of settle for those tougher step backs instead of just taking that easier shot. And, I think a great example is the Western Conference Finals. With Rudy Gobert anchoring the paint, you're going to have to take advantage of those opportunities. And Luka made multiple catch and shoot threes in his last 3 postseason games. And as a result, there's more flow in the offensive possession. And, I think just the continued growth of having another superstar and the embrace of doing little things. He was even a back screener in Spain pick and roll in one of the possessions in Minnesota. A lot of more creativity in the offense where they're able to get into those actions where Kyrie's screening, Luka's screening, and just continue to take advantage of that instead of just that slow it down. He having extra, weight on his frame to post up and be a slower paced team. That emphasis on playing faster. He's able to throw those throw ahead passes, kind of like Kevin Love, really popularized in those full court, throw aheads with athleticism like Derek Jones. on the roster and, guys like that, he's able to get the fast break, maximized by just getting the ball with that passing skill to his athletic teammates.
There's interesting storylines, at least to us, and talking about the series with Kyrie facing Boston, Kristaps Porzingis facing the Mavericks, those players going against their former team. Now, I think it doesn't really have anything to do with what's going to happen on the floor or the results of the series, but I am curious, Porzingis in Dallas, why did it not work out the way it should, and how much of a factor could he be in the series if he is healthy?
Yeah, I think part of the problem there is with his injury concerns, and a lot of the times that the Mavericks needed him the most, he wasn't available and at his best. In his last playoff, matchup against the Clippers, he, really struggled to post up smaller players, and the Clippers, very versatile defense with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, all those guys they have there. And also at the time, they were even more versatile because they would play like Nicholas Batum at the 5, so they could switch everything, and you have to be able to punish the small. And there was times where even against like Reggie Jackson, a smaller guard like that, where he was, badly missing those turnaround jump shots, face-up shots, stuff like that. And I think he's really grown in that since leaving Dallas. He's actually been one of the better post scorers, statistically speaking, in the NBA, this season. And that's, I think, where he's really embraced fitting in with Boston, embracing that smaller role. I think he really wanted to be a star in Dallas, not saying like the star, but, a star. And I don't think he necessarily has those like high expectations in Boston. I think he's definitely been embracing of that opportunity where he can be on a great team. The game will come easy for him and, things of that nature. So I think, I think there's definitely going to be a interesting dynamic with the fans, though, because he hasn't actually played in Dallas since being traded, going to the Eastern Conference. There's been situations where they either just didn't have him on the schedule or he was sidelined, with an injury.
As you look at this, Grant, and see how this has played out for the Mavericks this year, can it go even longer? Could they be a team to be reckoned with long term? Or, this is already a really, really stacked West. How is Dallas going to do, regardless of how this thing ends up with the finals, if they win the championship or if they fall short against the Celtics? Are they built to be able to do this maybe year in and year out for a little bit?
I think they are, because I think you're going to get improvement from Derek Lively. He's super coachable, and ever since stepping into the organization, he's been a fast learner. And I think 7'1" with a near 70 wingspan, super athletic. I think you're going to be able to get a lot of impact from him as he continues to improve in a lot of areas of his game and grow. And I think with the roster overall, they have a lot of multi-year contract players that are on good deals that are currently making a big impact, like PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford that they got off the deadline. I think that really solidified their positioning and their outlook for the next couple of years. Where, to be consistent and have your impact travel, if you will, like throughout an 82-game season, like defense is super important, and I think rim protection is super important, and they have that with, Lively and Gafford. And I think it'll be very important to see their roster as well this offseason, because Derek Jones, as we mentioned with that Prove It deal, he's going to be a free agent. Sounds like he would like to stay in Dallas, but, definitely things always have to, be focused on until the actual money conversation comes into it, because everything sounds nice until you start hearing the dollar figures, whether that's positive or negative. So if that ends up being the case, they have been diligent about developing younger players like Olivier Maxence Prosper, a 6'8" wing. They drafted him late in the first round last year, and they've been focusing intently on developing him. If there's any progress there, that could be really intriguing as well too. But overall, I think they have plenty of mix of young talent and the right types of talent filling key holes next to Luka and Kyrie.
Grant Afseh, he writes for MavericksGameDay.com, covers the Mavericks, and this will be a fun one firing up on Thursday in Boston as the Mavericks travel up there first for games 1 and 2 and then back to Dallas for games 3 and 4. Grant, we appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There you go. I'm just waiting. Is he off the lineup? My question is, do they really have a chance, JJ?
The Mavericks?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh.
You don't
Jeremy
think they have a
back.
chance?
No, I
you
wonder
think the
if people
Celtics are
just
that big of a favorite here?
No. That's the thing, is I think that there is a storyline that we as fans always buy into. And the storyline is, okay, cute for the Mavericks. Okay. They got to the finals, and nobody expected them to be there. And we talked about how there's no such thing as superstar ball anymore. But, man, Kyrie is kind of getting back to that level.
Yeah.
What is he, 23.5 in the playoffs? His plus minus is plus 145 in the playoffs, which is third or fourth best in these playoffs right now, and better than his teammate Luka Doncic. So when he's on the floor, he's almost better than anybody. And I think it would be an interesting thing to be able to say, I want this thing to go at least 6, man. I'm such a big fan of the NBA Finals, like the old school knockdown, drag out NBA Finals. I want there to be some hate. I want Boston fans to come down on Kyrie hard. I want him to respond, and I want all of those storylines. I want it to happen. I want there to be amazing basketball. I think we're going to get it. I really think we're going to get it.
I do too. I think this is great. It's a great matchup. I think there's star power on both sides. Both teams have a lot of similarities with personnel. I think if you took away the seeds and you took away the regular season records and you just put them together and compared them, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is almost like a mirror.
Right.
This is going to be a great series. There's not like this. So because and on the flip side, someone to respond to what you were saying, some people might be like, well, the Celtics had an easy path here, and the Celtics haven't had to prove anything, and the Mavericks have Luka, who looks like the best player on the planet right now. At least he's playing like it. It's the Celtics that should be concerned or worried because they didn't have as much of a difficult path, and I'm not sure if the Celtics have better depth, although their starting 5 is pretty darn good. I mean, you start looking at complementary players like Drew Holiday is an NBA champion. Derek White is really good. Is Porzingis healthy? That changes everything. Al Horford is a very accomplished veteran player. The Celtics are really good. They got depth too, but so do the Mavericks. So there's a lot of similarities. I think it's going to make for a great matchup and a very evenly matched NBA Finals. Like you, I think I want it to go 6 or 7. I think it will.
Look at what these teams do too, right? To make a run, and this is why the Mavericks just sign up their GM for another 4 or 5 years or whatever it is, because making moves in the middle of the season when you're pretty good as it is. I mean, and even then, think about early February before they end up getting PJ Washington, and before they added Daniel Gafford, right?
Yeah.
Before they were already a scary team. Like, we looked at them and went, that's kind of a scary group. But we didn't give them much credit because we had the Nuggets. Didn't even know the Timberwolves were going to be as good as they were in the offseason or in the postseason.
A lot of people didn't think they beat the Clippers in the first round.
And so this is why you have to play these series to find out. But also, you can have a phenomenal team, and if you don't make moves in that moment and look around and go, could we make a run to the finals this year? Yeah, but what do you need? What do you need to make that run? That's what good GMs do. And to Jason Kidd's credit, man, they've figured some stuff out along the way that you don't just kind of fake to get in the NBA Finals. So looking forward to it. All right, take a break. We'll come back. Before we do, let me see here. Oh, yeah, every Wednesday it's a Win Ticket Wednesday. That's tomorrow, JJ. We've got tickets to the Salt Lake Bees. It's that time of year. We're going to be giving these out all the time. And so if you want to tune in and win some Bees tickets, tomorrow's a good time to do it on our Win Ticket Wednesday. So we'll be back. More to go around the corner. A Would You Rather next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, Would You Rather goes like this. Welcome back, by the way. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Curie, Jeremiah Jensen, the team back together again. You get your refill?
I'm good. Yep, I'm ready to go now.
Ice cold agua?
Yeah, it's not agua.
Agua mineral?
It's a little diet agua. How about that?
Oh, okay.
I need a little boost today.
I got you.
A Coke Zero there.
Oh. There was a. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't trying to call you out. I was like, I'm happy for you. I like the You know, when you go on an airplane and you get, why did we do the ginger ale?
It's the only place you can ever find ginger ales on a plane.
No, I mean, it's at the store everywhere.
You ever in a restaurant like, wow, yeah, like
Do you have a
I
Schweppes?
could really go for some ginger ale with my burger.
You have a Schweppes?
Schweppes. Have you ever seen a Schweppes?
No, my kids are all,
Where do you even buy Schweppes?
my kids are like, ginger ale. And the other kids are like, ginger ale for me. Ginger ale. 4-year-old, hot chocolate. I was like, what?
You could have a 6-pack in
I
your fridge
know.
at home. They'd never touch it.
They'd never
They
drink
get
it.
on a plane. Everybody wants ginger ale.
I know. I told you what my move is on the plane, right? Jeremy, do you remember what my move is? No, it's not tomato juice.
Oh, get out of here with that crap.
Bloody Mary mix. Give me
gosh.
Give me the Mr. T.
No.
I love it.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
It ain't low sodium, I'll tell you that.
Why would you want to drink a tomato?
No, it's got the
With garlic in
It's got
it.
the saltiness, got the spiciness to it.
It's
Come
crazy. Something could taste great on spaghetti, but it doesn't taste great in a can. Let me tell you that.
Give me do you have a Clamato? Because I was wanting some tomato juice, but with some clam juice also. Like open it. We don't do that
gosh.
with tuna. You don't make, you know what though? I'm gonna start doing it.
Tuna juice?
Take some tuna juice, put it in some tomato juice. You got yourself a stew. No, come on. You know I'm a Bloody Mary guy. Not even it's the Virgin Bloody Mary. The Virgin Bloody Mary on an airplane.
Would you rather have Clamato juice or Tunato juice?
What's the Tunato?
That's tuna juice and tomatoes.
Oh, now we're talking. We've already made a brand out of it.
That's gross.
You know, all the beverage companies have tried it, like focus groups. And what did you think about the shrimp water with the tomato juice and the tuna water? See, I just had the little moment.
2 hours with you, which is probably the reason
Come
why.
on,
Tuna and
I've had enough
tomato.
tonight.
I've had enough tonight. Yeah,
Tuna and tomato. Genius.
I'm telling you.
I like it.
Have it with your brunch on an airplane. You sit next to a stranger.
Oh,
and go,
no. You can't have fish on a plane.
No.
Not
But
even
you
tuna.
can in the.
I hate the guy that brings like a fish sandwich on the plane.
My favorite is when the guy's like, finally I can tuck into this sausage roll with all the veggies. You're like, what are you doing? Nominate your youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination, kslsports.com/contest. You can listen every Thursday. JJ and I will read off that winner for you. Celebrate the efforts of those volunteers, making an impact in their communities with the Hercules Hero of the Week, brought to you by Hercules Credit Union and Beehive Meals. All right. So a question was posed. We can't play the audio because there's a lot of F words, but it was to C.J. Stroud and who else? Bryce Young? No. Who was the C.J. Stroud? They were sitting with a couple of young quarterbacks. Either way, the question was posed to C.J. Stroud. It was like, would you rather have would you rather be Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning? And so I'll pose it to you. Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers? One has 1 Super Bowl and 4 MVPs. I don't have to tell you who that is. The other has 2 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs and is likely headed to the Hall of Fame. But we still have that conversation, which means we don't necessarily know. And overall, I think we would look on paper that Aaron Rodgers has a better career. But C.J. Stroud was asked about it, and he said, absolutely, Eli Manning, give me those rings.
I agree with him.
But, I mean, like, you still get one Super Bowl ring and 4 MVPs or 2 Super Bowl rings and no MVPs.
Eli Manning, his career record, yes, is 117 and 117.
Such a
He's
giant
a 500 quarterback.
Yeah.
But he beat Tom Brady head-to-head and did it in dramatic fashion. He did it in New York.
Is that the tipper for you? Not the Super Bowls, really. It's that you beat the GOAT both times you played him in the Super Bowl.
Let me say this. Who had the better teams over that span? It was Aaron Rodgers. Why didn't Aaron Rodgers win more?
He would tell
Why
you,
does Aaron Rodgers have
I did
one?
my part.
Why does Aaron Rodgers have one? How many times did they get to the playoffs and choke?
I didn't have Alan Lazard all those years. Come on. Get over it. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett wasn't my coach at that point. Now we're going to win it.
So if you're going to ask me, I'd take Eli's career. I know that sounds crazy. You want Aaron's prestige, you want his stats, you want his regular season wins. Well, Eli Manning went 2-0 in Super Bowls. And he did it against Tom Brady and the Patriots. And you go back and watch the highlights of those games, and they're memorable. They're impactful. What can you tell me about the Super Bowl that Aaron Rodgers won? Can you even tell me who he beat?
Patriots?
Nope.
Just assumed.
So I guess I made my point.
Yeah.
I think that I would take Eli's too. So I like what CJ Stroud said. I agree with him.
Very quickly. Boston Celtics, game 1 at the Garden, or Boston Red Sox, game 1 of the World Series at Fenway. You get a ticket to either one.
Fenway.
You're not even a baseball guy, JJ.
I know. I just feel like in Fenway, World Series, there's something special about that. The Garden isn't the old Garden. The old Garden was a dump anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have like any connection or like I don't care about the Celtics.
Okay.
If it was Celtics Jazz game 1, then I'm maybe having a different conversation. But just Fenway Park's one of those magical places, and to be able to be there for the World Series would be
Moonlight
phenomenal.
Graham.
That's more bucket list than a Celtics game. Just is.
I agree. You still have to honor like baseball's history more than anything right now. All right. I mean, like not more than anything. I'm just saying we still do that, even though we're like, baseball.
Yeah.
But then we're like, oh, World Series at Fenway? Oh, at Wrigley? Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go. 4 o'clock hour around the corner. Have some more NBA stuff to talk about, including a quote from Jason Kidd and what he had to say about his coaching career versus his playing career. Stay with us, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.